Have you got cutworm damage? How do you save this tomato plant? We'll show you how, and it's not going to be with a glass of water. Hey guys, Sean from Living Seeds, your seed guru. Today we are in one of our tomato seed production tunnels. We're talking cutworms, everyone's ultimate pest. Cutworm damage, it's just a constant issue. There are constantly cutworms inside the soil. They're always eating your seedlings. You spend so many hours and weeks growing these beautiful seedlings, and the cutworms come along and chow them down. If you have a look in the next tunnel, these guys over here, what they are doing is they are looking for cutworm caterpillars that are causing havoc on Living Seeds Farm. Cutworm, it's an issue. We have a cutworm issue. There's a number of things that we do to prevent cutworm damage. One of the things that we do is a magic trick with the cutworm damaged plants. Once the cutworm has cut the tomato plant, they are extremely adept at cutting the tomato plant just below a growth node. So the piece that's left inside the soil and the piece that's lying forlorn on the soil that's been cut by the cutworm, number one, you can't join them, and number two, the piece inside the soil generally doesn't regrow. This becomes an issue because you have spent weeks growing these tomato seedlings, you've transplanted them into the soil, and this cutworm just comes along and hammers your seedlings. If you look at this picture, you will see that there is a cutworm damaged plant. The stem of the plant is still inside the soil, and there is a very good looking cut plant that is lying on the ground, and this is the cut plant that we are going to use. This is our plant that has been hit by the cutworm, and you can still see that there's a little bit of dew coming out or moisture coming out because this part that's inside the soil is still alive, and this cut part over here, this is the part that we're going to use to show you our little magic trick. However, what you need to do right now is you need to actually dig around here, and you need to find that cutworm. And normally the cutworm is it's just under the soil, and let's find this guy. Where are you? Hey, sure, got to look quite carefully to find this guy. There we go. Check at that cutworm. One of the other things that we do for our cutworm control is we have these yellow bucket funnel traps. Say it quickly with me, yellow bucket funnel trap. So we use yellow bucket funnel traps from the last frost all the way through to the first frost in every single one of our tunnels. But I'll do a separate video on these guys because they're so important in your cutworm control. Just a quick break in this video. Everybody says smash the like button and subscribe and all of those wonderful things. I'm going to ask you, if you find any value in our video, please like the video, please subscribe to our channel. It really helps to promote our channel to all of the other gardeners. Now for our secret trick with the cutworm damaged top of the tomato plant. And no, we're not sticking it into a glass of water, we're doing something else. All too often, gardeners are looking for the cheapest way to grow their produce. And sometimes you need to spend a little bit of money. These are Jiffy 7s, they're Jiffy plugs, and we like to have them on hand all the time, specifically for this reason. You have just spent weeks and possibly even months growing your precious seedlings. And if a cutworm comes along, in one day they can put paid to 2 months worth of work. So it's worthwhile having a collection of Jiffy plugs. They come in a couple of different sizes, but it's worthwhile having a whole lot of these on hand for an emergency situation like this morning. This is our solution. We actually have two. This is the first one. I'll tell you about the other one a little bit later. So all you do is you take your Jiffy plug, you expand it in warm water, and you stick the cut tomato plant into the Jiffy plug. Look at that healthy root growth. We are in the Living Seeds laboratory where we perform all surgical operations of this nature. It's also known as our kitchen where we make tea and coffee. So what we have over here is we have some Jiffy plugs that we have just hydrated in some warm water. So here's your Jiffy plug. You can see it's nice and moist. There's lots of water coming out. We have our 2 tomatoes. These aren't cutworm damaged. We actually cut them off for the purposes of showing you how this is done. However, if you have one that is cutworm damaged, what I would do is this end over here is going to dry out. What I would do is I would just cut it so that you have nice clear sap coming out there. And all you need to do is to take the Jiffy plug and insert the tomato as deep as you can. Job done. And we'll do it for this one as well. I'm going to trim this lower leaf off. I'm going to give it a cut over here so it's nice and clean. This one might be a little bit on the soft side. No, it goes straight into the Jiffy plug. No, it's not. Let me take a tool to make it slightly deeper. You push it all the way down, and what I would do is, if you've opened it up like you have with the tool, just give it a bit of a squeeze, and there's your tomato seedling. The only thing left to do now is to add this. So what we would do is we'd add these into the tray, and we've got tape on the side over here which tells you what variety is inside here, so that we know which variety is which. You'll see they're actually in lines. So this is one variety, this is the next variety. And it just helps you to keep track of this. This is on our windowsill, or it's actually on our kitchen counter in the Living Seeds office. There's some light coming through. It's not direct sunlight. There's an awning outside. But you can see how well these guys have grown. And I mean, just look at this beautiful root development. This root development will take approximately 10, 12 days to get root development like this. Maximum 10, 12 days. So absolutely stunning. This is a really, really great way to save 6 weeks of worth of work without throwing the top of the tomato plant away. All you need to do now is go back to the location where that cutworm damaged your plant, and you transplant your seedling. There's zero transplant shock, and those roots will just continue to grow into the soil. Last week, Monday, we had a little bit of a scare where we thought we were going to have a massive frost. So we put down all of these shavings over these plants. So the plants were a little bit shorter, but we used the shavings to help protect the plant from the frost. What's happened is that the cutworm are using these shavings to ring bark these plants. So if you have a look at this plant over here, this plant has been ring barked by cutworm. This plant is still looking relatively good, and it's going to struggle because it's been ring barked. About 80%, I would say about 80% of the outer stem has been eaten off by cutworm. So the plant is going to struggle, and it's going to limp along for a while. And probably if you're in your garden, you're looking at your plants, you're thinking, oh, these plants, they were great. And all of a sudden, they're not looking great. Have a look down at the bottom of the stem. Maybe there's a caterpillar or a cutworm that has ring-barked the plant. And let's show you how to save that plant. This is a tomato plant that was ring-barked last week. And what we did was we cut it into short sections. You'll see we actually only have one node. It's a short piece of stem with one single node. We've stuck them into the Jiffy plugs. And I'm going to pull it out, and if you have a look, there is beautiful root growth. I've just given you 2 solutions to cutworm damaged plants. The cool thing is that we took one plant that was damaged that you'd normally just toss and say a couple of bad words at the cutworm, we've taken that one plant, we've turned it into 3 plants. And I would reckon in another week and a half, we can plant these 3 plants out, and they will actually be 3 clones of the same plant. The penalty for cutworm damage on Living Seeds Farm is execution, death by chicken. And we call the chickens. Lay beautiful eggs, my girls, lay beautiful eggs.